this video, I'm going to tell you one of the biggest mistakes that I see and why you should underexpose your photo. This is a mistake that I see so many photographers do. If you slightly overexpose your photo, the photo is ruined. If you underexpose your photo, you can still recover shadows, and it makes a big difference. Why is that? Imagine a digital camera center is like a bucket of water, okay? When you are in a shadow, you still have water left, and you can still pull data from the water. But once you have into the highlights and the bucket is full, anything that's above that, you won't be able to recover. Because if you overexpose your photo, you get no more data, it's pure white, there's no more texture, there's no more colors, there's no more gradient, there's nothing. It's not usable. I'm going to show you some live example. It's going to blow your mind. And if you stay till the end, I'm going to show you what you can do about it. This video is going to be a banger and it will change your life if you love landscape and cityscapes. So look at this photo, same view. This is an overexposed photo. You could think it's like properly exposed because we have all the depth of shadows. And this is an underexposed version. Now, if I use one of my presets, my professional presets, so if I go up here and I use like the golden hour preset, because that was a golden hour, you know, even if I underexpose the photo here, it's nice, but you see we lost a lot of details here. The gradient is kind of weird. If I use the same golden hour preset on an underexposed photo, now right off the bat, you can see, let's compare both photos. You have a much more gradient. Look on this, you have much more data here on the top. We still have the same shadows, but look at this. Even here around the sky, it's much better. But let me show you another example. This is crazy. This is one of the nicest photos I shot last year. It's a beautiful view in south of France. And if I use my blue hour preset on this one, okay, so this is with the preset. It's nice, but check this out. If I use the same preset on a much underexposed photo, look at that. This one is actually much nicer. It's got a lot more colors into it. You know, that's just so much more detail than this one, much more dramatic. Now, this is a crazy example. This is a photo from Wendy Killer. She's one of my students, part of my Institute of Photography, which is a certification that I do. It's a certification I do, and you get this diploma at the end. You can actually book a call to see if you qualified under this video. But check this out. So Wendy went to the Antelope Canyon, and she shot what I consider one of the nicest rock in the world, the Lady in the Wind. And she didn't know what she was doing at the time. She totally overexposed the photo. And look at this. The rocks is like little white dots here. It's totally ruined. Here it's completely burned. You can do nothing. Now, I happen to have the exact same photo, but I shot it in HDR and I recovered the sky there. And look how clean it is here. I mean, compare both photos. One, she literally has to go back and reshoot it. Look at this. She has to go back and reshoot it. Let me zoom in. It's totally burned here, and here I have all the details. I can actually make a nice print of this photo because I underexposed that photo and she did not. So I'm about to do a workshop in the Antelope Canyon. Believe me, we're going to underexpose like crazy. We're going to HDR, but even my HDR is going to be slightly underexposed. Look at this photo from New York. It was completely overexposed. It was shot with an ND filter, so I reshot it until it had some details in the sky. Let's use one of my black and white preset on the first one. So this is what I get with my preset. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Now look at the same preset with this. You see I get a much more dark photo, but now I can play around with the whites and the white balance. And I get a really cool photo. Look at this. This is overexposed. I lost all the detail there. And now I have got a beautiful black and white. It's dramatic. Now look at this one. That's kind of crazy. Look at this photo from La Sorbonne. This is a beautiful view. This one is also overexposed. And this is how I got it with my preset. Not bad. But this is the underexposed photo. This is how I got it. Look how much more details I have in that sky. I mean, it's not a huge difference, but you see here, it's totally burned. And I can't print this because it's burned in here. I get all the nice gradient around the sun. And it really makes a difference between being able to sell it to galleries like I do, or being able to sell it to magazines like I did. I sold 2 photos to National Geographic, one time to Germany and one time to Spain. I would have never been able to do it if I didn't underexpose the photo. Now check this one out. This is crazy. This is Zion National Park with just one preset, one click on my sunset preset. Check this out. Again, you can get a preset for free. By the way, why am I giving the preset for free? Is I want to give you value because I want to coach you. So I give you the preset, you can use them. You're like, wow, that is really amazing. I got to get some coaching from this guy. Again, book a call with me. Look at this, one click of the preset. This is what I got. And I could have never gotten it if I did not have underexposed the photo. Look at the nice gradient I get in the sky. Look at this photo, how underexposed it is. This is with the preset. Look how nice it is. You get all the details of that beautiful sunrise in Paris. Look at this. Same morning, beautiful golden hour. beautiful sunrise golden hour. And, you know, look how much I underexposed l'île de la Cité. And boom, this is what I got as a result. Look at this photo, how underexposed it is. Okay, but with one preset, I got this. You know, I still got all the detail of that beautiful sunrise. And look at this one. Very underexposed photo for my London book, and boom, I used one of my presets and I got this result. So please underexpose at least by one stop your photo. You know, the trick that I use is especially when there's dynamic range, I take the photo and I look at the back of my camera and I make sure that I still have some, even in the brightest part of the preview on the back of the camera, that I still have some texture. If it looks white, it's very, very, very a big warning sign. I mean, you can use a zebra if you want to. I find it very distracting because when I look at the back of my camera and I see zebras, I find it very confusing to compose. Honestly, the best trick is you look at the back of the camera and you look at the brightest spot of the photo and make sure you still have texture there. Even if the photo looks underexposed, overall, you know you're going to be good. Because that way you're going to get very strong colors, like I showed you, very strong textures. And I mean, look at the shadows. Look at the shadows on this one. It's actually perfect. I mean, I can show you the shadows. I'd even use noise reduction. Of course, you don't want to overdo it. You know, it takes a bit of practice. But like, again, let me show you with this photo. But this is the before. This is the before. This is the before. This is a kind of like, this is a kind of underexposed photo you need to have. I've been doing this. I've been selling this in galleries for years and years and years. In 2024, I became the official photo of Las Vegas because of that trick. And 70 photographers were being tested. And Frequency Plus, which is an agency hired by Miss Goodman, which was the mayor of Vegas at the time, picked me, and I shot 3,000 photos for Vegas because I underexposed my photo. So I've done it professionally. I've done it with National Geographic. I've done it with Vegas. I've done it with Nike. I do it with my galleries. I do it with my books. It works everywhere. I've been doing it for 21 years. Don't overdo it, but do it a little bit. I hope that helps. I got an incredible video coming up where I'm going to compare fine art photography with an iPhone, like shot in RAW, incredible quality versus like a Sony Cine R5 5K. I'm going to take both those, I'm going to print them, and I'm going to go in the street and ask 10 people if they can tell the difference. Subscribe to my channel to make sure you don't miss this one.